Hey, you beautiful souls. Have you ever wondered what separates soul connecting sacred sexuality from just the physical act of sex? Well, today we're going to talk about the difference between the two and how you can have this most transformative and profound experience. So to anybody who's never been here before, hi, I'm Elizabeth Blackwell, and I specialize in setting sacred spaces and helping others find their highest and greatest self. So let's get into it. At the core of sacred sexuality is the intentional utilization of sexual energy. And sexual energy is a creation energy and can be used for all sorts of things. But for the parameters of today's conversation, we're really talking about utilizing sexual energy to bring about connection with another individual. So that is one of the big ways that we are going to differentiate between regular sex and sacred sexuality. So let's just start off with talking about what is sacred sexuality. This is where we go beyond the physical. This is about the utilization of sexual energy within the body, the mind, and the spirit, and using this energy in an intentional way. The body. Most people recognize sex as a physical experience, but sacred sexuality is a full body, full sensory experience. It is utilizing all of your physicality, in this case, to connect with another individual. Then there's the mind. Now, the largest sex organ within anybody's body is the brain. But within sacred sexuality, this is about being very intentional with your thoughts, your mindfulness, your presence, and keeping your mind within that connection with the other individual. If you've stuck with me this far, consider subscribing because I share knowledge on soul connections and spiritual growth all the time. And if you're finding some use within this video, consider hitting the like button as well, because it really does help out small channels like this. And then there is the spirit. This is about understanding that you are sharing more than just a physical experience, that you are going into your core beings and leaving a lasting connection point between you two. So let's get into what some of the differences are between the two. And we're going to start with intimacy. Into me, you see. Now, within physical sex, it is clearly an intimate experience. But within sacred sexuality, intimacy really serves as that bridge that connects the physical and the spiritual. And it allows there to be meaning and purpose around your connection. And it works to prioritize whatever it is that you're trying to bring about, in this case, connection, and it nurtures both of you. Unlike straight physical sex, sacred sexuality utilizes intimacy to elevate this to a holistic experience. And so now let's talk about energy exchange. I don't want to get too repetitive, but clearly within physical sex, everything is concentrated all on the physicality of things. But within sacred sexuality, it is now adding in there that emotional and spiritual energy. And it serves as a powerful medium for the connection of all of these. This is where you are truly blending your energy together. This heightens the experience, leading to powerful connection and transformation. And then I just want to call out here, this is about an exchange, a give and a receive. And so it's really good to kind of have a basic understanding of both masculine and feminine energies. I don't want to go too deep into it here, but I do just want to kind of give you the basics. So remember, this has nothing to do with biological gender, but the energy within all of us. And we all have a blend of both masculine and feminine energy. And when it comes to sacred sexuality, you really do need to tap into both sides of it, because it is about giving and receiving. So masculine energy is going to be that more giving, strength, logic-oriented energy, as opposed to the feminine, which is going to be the softer, the more receiving, the nurturing energy. And within sacred sexuality, both need to be present within both partners so that you can have that true energy exchange and you can blend that energy together. So the last little area that I'm going to cover as far as differences is the difference between intention within these practices. Within sacred sexuality, you enter into this practice with a united intention for that connection and the blending of your energies, as opposed to regular sex, which is more about physical pleasure. And a lot of times, especially if it's not communicated, that it's sometimes a more one-sided or self-sided practice. And sometimes you're not even necessarily aware of the other individual. So within sacred sexuality, you have a unified intention together, and it's about that connection and the blending of your energies. I have other videos which talk about sensual massage and go a little bit deeper into sacred sexuality. But for today, I just want to give you some simple things that you can do if you want to start to move into the practice of sacred sexuality. So I always put this out there, and not everybody agrees with me, but I try to say, do not try to practice sacred sexuality with somebody that you've either just met or somebody that you don't have a little bit more in-depth knowledge of. I just don't think it's a very good thing to do, because you are creating a soul connection with this individual, and you generally want to know who you're doing that with and have an understanding of who they are at their core being before you get into this practice. So some very basic things that you can do as you get into this practice. First, communicate. I recommend that there be some verbal communication about your thoughts and where you're taking the practice. But as you get into the practice, there is a lot of nonverbal and energetic communication as well. So you want to be open to that and mindful not only of yourself, but what your partner is communicating to you too. Eye contact is something that I strongly recommend, both before you get into the practice as well as in the middle of it. And if you or your partner is out of practice of holding eye contact, you can very gently call them to you and just say, look at me, and hold that eye gaze for, doesn't have to be an extended period of time, but you can read a lot about what they are thinking and what they are feeling just based upon looking into their eyes. Set your space. Now, I am all about setting sacred spaces, but you don't have to go too in depth here. The lighting of a few candles, being aware of the temperature of the room, just making sure that there is nothing distracting or negative to you, but set that space so it's an area of connection and you can have that mindfulness practice as you're in union with your partner. And then post-intimacy. I call this aftercare. This doesn't have to be long or drawn out, but spend a few moments together afterwards. If it's very open, communicate here verbally, but share some time together. It is a biological thing that men will tend to want to fall asleep and that women will have their minds race a little bit more. but just spend some time together and feel that energy exchange between you two. I am going to link some videos about sacred touch and sacred connection that may be of help so that you can go a little bit deeper into this. I always have a problem not making a joke there. But again, if you've enjoyed this so far, consider subscribing, because I'm all about sharing the knowledge that I've built in order to help others get to their highest and greatest self. And if this video has helped you out, please do consider hitting that like button. It really does help out small channels like this. So with that, I will say I am sending you all so much light and love, and I hope you all stay well, my friends.